students, welcome to the technical writing. So today we will see what is scientific articles. The way we do science has developed over the last 300, okay, almost 300 years. Publication in widely available form is crucial element, right? We should publish actually. If we are doing something, then we should write some article, right? And that should be published. New scientific means if we have some new scientific ideas that can be openly discussed, criticized, that can be tested, accepted, sometimes it may be rejected, right? Until you push, you are not doing science, right? And there is some structure of articles. If we are writing some articles, that has some basic structure, like there should be some first there should be introduction, second there should be the method, third results and discussions, and some more uh, we can say some more structure, more contents are there, right? Like after discussion, we should give some acknowledgement, we should give some references, right? Appendix, everything. Now you will ask to me that what is the difference between the scientific articles and what is the journal papers. So there is a very small difference. They are almost all are same. The basic difference is that generally the scientific articles are written by some researcher, right? And the journal papers are written by some students. So this is the small difference. So here one of the example is given as Journal of the Mechanical Behavior of Biomedical Sciences. This is one of the journal. So suppose if somebody is belongs to medical field and he is doing some research, so he will publish his research in this journal, right? So we are as an engineer, so we have some more journals. In that journal, we have to publish our papers. For example, here, see, actually, uh, American Society of Civil Engineers. See here, American Society of Civil Engineer. This is actually the journal uh, for the civil engineers, right? So if we have to publish our paper, then we can publish our papers. So here you will see there are the number of journals, right? For example, here there are the number of journals: Journal of Geotechnical and Geoenvironmental Engineering, Journal of Geomechanics, Journal of Hazardous, right? Journal of Highway and Transportation Engineering, Journal of Hydraulics. So there are the number of journals. In that journal, we publish our article, right? So for example, uh, I select some journal, right? Here one journal is there. I think it is visible. Okay. So this is actually one of the website of journal where we can publish our paper, right? So some of the journals names are there. Now we come to the our point. What happens to your article means once we write our journal, then we have to submit to the journal, and that journal has some editor, right? And that editor uh, accept our ideas, accept our articles, then he or she sent to the reviewers. Reviewers means they check our journals, they check our article, and then they comment something, right? And after that comment, they sent back to the editors, and editor see that thing. So it is the editor's decision whether he will accept or reject, or he will say revise your article, right? So if it will be revised, then it will come back to you, and you have to revised, and then you have to write one later that we have revised that, and again editor may revert to reverse, and it is the process until it will be accepted, right? So here we will see, for example, this is one of the journal. Within the journals, actually, here it will not be. Uh, Anyway, when we go to the website, so there will be some editor's name, and then we can see their names, right? And so this is just related with the editors, right? For your information only. Now we come to the point. Next, what is the duty of editor? What he or she do, right? So first, there are the 3 points. First is this originality in our paper, right? What is the new thing? What is new idea in our paper, right? Next is what are the contents? Means content means everything is available or some data is missing or not. They will see these things, right? If every content should be good, right? Content should be enough. Next, what is the simplicity? Simplicity means how we have written that article, right? It should not be so complicated that the readers cannot understand, right? Now, next is main elements of an article. So these are the elements. First is title, right? Next is the authors, then abstract means summary, then keywords, introduction, methods, result, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgements, reference, right? So these things should be there. Otherwise, if it will be missing, then it will not be a complete. We cannot say that is a complete article. So here some characteristics are given. For example, if the title is given, then the purpose of title should be that it should be clearly describes the contents. Means once person read our title of our article, then immediately he should get some interest. He should understand what is actually inside the paper, right? Next is authors means ensure the recognition of the writers, right? Who is the author, whether he is the researcher or student, who is that one. Next, abstract. Abstract means we have to summarize our work and describe what we have done in very short way. Next, keywords. This is very important. We should include some keywords, right? Because nowadays, actually, just if we have to find some journal papers, then what we do, we type that keywords, and immediately the papers related to that title is available, right? So we have to be very accurate. What should be the keyword? For example, this is the title: Vegetation Analysis Study in and around Sultan Qaboos University, Oman, using GeoEye-1 satellite data. So this is the title. Next, author is there. Then there this the address is given. Then you will see here the keywords are given. Keywords means what? Vegetation analysis, then change detection, GeoEye, then satellite data. At least 4 or 5 keywords should be there, right? Next, introduction. Explain the problem. Means what we are going to do. We should explain that problem. Then methods, explain how the data were collected, then how you performed that experiment, and what data collected. So everything should be clearly mentioned. Then results. So after performing any experiment, whatever result you have got, you should mention that. Next, discussion or conclusion means based on our result, we will discuss the implication of the findings, right? Next, acknowledgements. Acknowledgement means if somebody is helping to us, like any doctor or any company, any organization, any institute. So we should acknowledge them. We should say thanks to them, right? That is the acknowledgement. Then references means whatever we have done previously. If anyone has done that work, so we should give some references, right? So ensure previously published work is recognized. Then appendices means if some additional data is there, then we combine it into appendices, right? Next is, now we will talk in detail little bit title. The first characteristics, as I told you, that title should be describe the main content of your paper, right? And it should be very accurate. It should be very attractive. It should be very unique, so that the readers should attract and he should read your paper. Next, author. Author means if you are writing, your friends are writing, so you are the authors, right? So only include those who have uh, intellectually contributed to your research, right? You cannot write the person who has not contributed in the research. That is actually the thing. Next is who understand your idea and who can defend your work. Then he should or she should be the author, right? Next, according to means those who have worked a lot, he should be the principal contributor, right? So for example, I will show you. For example, this is the first author, this is the second author, and this is the third author. So who has worked, he will write his name first, right? Then second, then third, based on priority of the work they have done. Next, next is abstract. Abstract means generally this abstract should be written in the last, because after completing all the works, we understand what is actually our work, and we summarize that work, right? So there are some points we should include in the abstract. So first is what objective of the study was there, right? What was our objective? It should be mentioned in the abstract. Then how the study was done, then what results you obtained, and what is the significance of your result, right? And it should be in 150 words, 150 to 200 words, right? And many authors write the abstract last, so the same thing which I told you, right? Now, structured of abstract. So again, here some key points are given. Based on that key points, we should write the abstract. First is what is the background of our research, right? For example, this we have seen this, right? He has worked on the vegetation analysis, right? So he want to analyze, he want to study what is the vegetation near or around the Sultan Qaboos University, right? Using the satellite data. So first, he will collect the history, right? Or what is the background. Then he will write some aim or objective or what is the purpose. Then he will write some methods, which methods he is going to use, then what is the result he got, and he will discuss on the result. So this is the structure of abstract. Next, the keywords. I have already told you keywords are very beneficial, because for example, if we have to search on website, for example, this is the website, right? Here if I have to search some any paper, so just I will type in the website that keyword, and I will get the number of papers related to that topic, right? Now, introduction should clearly state what is our problem. which problem we are going to solve, right? Problem being investigated. Next, what is background that explain the problem, then reasons why you are conducting that research, right? Next is it should be summarized, right, in a means we should summarize relevant research to provide context, right? Next, state how your work differs from published work. Means suppose the same work has been done by the different author, right? So what is the uniqueness in your work? So you should state that thing in the introduction, then identify the question you're answering, right? Means you should have some question for which you are going to do that work, right? And next, you should explain other findings, right? And next, briefly describe the experiment, or if there a hypothesis, research, or question is there. Then steps for effective introduction. So there are some key points are given, we can say, which will we can say it very which will be very effective when we are writing the introduction, right? So begin the introduction by providing a concise background account of problem study, right? We should give some background. Next, state the objective of the investigation. Your research objective is the most important part of the introduction, right? We should give the objective. Next, establish the significance of your work. What is your what is the significance? Means how it will be useful for the society, how it will be useful for any organization. You should give that. Next, introduce the reader to the pertinent literature. Do not give a full history, right? Only quote, you can quote the small things. Then clearly state your hypothesis, then variables investigative is there, and concisely, or we can say in very summarized way, summarize the methods which you are going to use. Then define any abbreviation. Means some abbreviations are used, then you should define that. Then provide a concise discussion of the results and findings of other studies. There should not be any lengthy discussion. That should be in very specific manner. Then after that, the next thing is methods. Which method you are going to use, right? So provide the readers enough details so that they can understand your research, right? Explain how you studied the problem, then identify the procedures you followed, and order these chronology where possible, right? Explain if there is any new methodology, or otherwise if you have used methodology of some others for your area, then you should define that. Next, include the frequency of observation. Means, for example, if you are going to do the work on vegetation analysis, now for example, you have taken one area, and within that area, every after every 1 month, what is the status of vegetation, right? So you have to describe that. That is the frequency of observation. Then what type of data were recorded? Like, for example, you have noted the greenery, you have noted temperature, you have noted we can say infiltration, whatever it is data. So you have noted, then you should mention that. Be precise. You should obviously you should be precise while you are measuring that thing. Why there should not be any error, right? Next is data collection and analysis. Identify the type and size of data required for the research. First, before starting your research, you should know what type of data will be required. What would be the size of that data for your research. Next, then identify the kind of analysis will be appropriate to means which kind of analysis will be appropriate for your work. You like analysis like which tool will be required, which technique you will use, then what would be the resources, how you will get that the tool, that technique, right? And next, consider the sources of the data required carefully. While you are selecting the research, uh, and when you are getting data from some source, then uh, you should be careful the availability and possible methods of collecting the data, right? Next, the reasons for choosing a particular data collection and analysis methods are always determined by the nature. Yeah, I think I have cleared. Next is data collection and analysis. In fact, it will often be appropriate to decide first on the type of analysis. Means whether you will require some more data, means it is quantitative analysis or it is qualitative analysis. Means data is very less, but the quality would be should be very good. Or you want to take some more data, means that is quantitative data. So you have to be careful about that. Next is when a particular phenomena is investigated according to a specific predetermined methodology, it might not even be possible to begin the analysis until all the relevant data have been collected. Right? Quantitative and qualitative research. So generally, what happens? See, if you have, here you can see this natural science. This is the journal, right? And this natural science has traditionally concentrated on hard quantitative uh, positivist analysis. This was adopted by human science until its shortcoming became evident. So here it is showing that this one of the journal is there, right? And it is concentrated on quantitative analysis. So you should remember, you should be careful while you are submitting your article to some of the journals. Uh, what is their we can say they think what they in which data they concentrate. You should be careful. Similarly, some of the journals concentrate on quantitative and qualitative research. So we should be careful which journal is concentrate on which type of data. Next is research strategies. Means the different types of research are done. Some research are done on experimental basis. Some research are done only on survey basis. Some research are based on archival analysis. Some are based on historical, and some are based on case study. Right. So uh, some research may be combine of two things, right? Experimental and survey. Some may be historical and case study. So there should be some strategies. Next is what should be the strategy for the different types of experiment. For example, if it is experimental research, then we should ask the question how it will be done, then why we are doing, and what we will get. Similarly, if survey is there, then who will do the survey, then what we will get, then where it will be done, how many peoples will work, and then uh, how much data we have to collect, how much survey we have to done. Next, archival analysis means who will do and what we will do, then where it will be done, how many and how much. The same question we have to ask. Similarly, historical and case study, we have to ask how and why we are doing and how it will be done. Now, next is data collection. Data collection means the research which we are going to do, that will be based on some data. So, from which source we will collect the data? So, there will be libraries or and archives. museums and collection, then government departments or commercial or professional bodies. The internet will be the thing, or on the field we have to go and we have to collect the data, right? Next, analyzing data. So there are several reasons why we analyze data, some of which are the same as the reasons for doing research. The major reasons are in order to that means analyzing data means we measure something, we compare the data which we collected in current situation and in the last 20 years, 30 years. Next, we analyze the relationship. For example, if we are doing research on vegetation index, vegetation means whatever the greenery is available in a particular area. So we will correlate with the temperature, we will correlate with the water, we will correlate with the rainfall. Similarly, some forecasting may be there, some test hypothesis may be there. So we should be clear why we are doing that and why we are analyzing, right? So some test hypothesis we are doing, or we are constructing some concept and theories, or we are exploring something. Likewise, there should be the analysis. There are some tools used for some analysis. First is a statistic. Statistics are used, or we can say mathematics are used, right? So these two techniques are used for analysis generally, right, in the research. Then result. This is very important. This section presents the result of experiment, but does not attempt to interpret their meaning, right? Means whatever we have got the result, just we have to write that result. We should not discuss that result in the same title, right? Next, next is Next is you should remember, you should know that which information you should include and which information you should exclude in your result. The third thing is that you will not present the raw data, means whatever data you have collected, you cannot present the same thing, right? You have to do something. Uh, After that, means you have to summarize it in the form of tables, in the form of figures. Next is we should use some figures, we should use some tables so that it will be effective, right? In most of the papers nowadays, result and discussions are combined. See, in some paper result is different, and in some paper result and discussions are combined. Do not include the same data in both a table and a figure. Means the table and the figure should not say the same thing, that should be some different. So for example, if sometimes figure is useful, then we should give the figure. Sometimes if table is useful, then we should give the tables, right? Now, another additional tips on the result, if we have to write about the result, then number tables and figures separately begin with 1, right? We should separate it by 1. Uh, Means we should say table 1, table 2, table 3, like figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. Then next is do not attempt to evaluate the result in this section. Means we should not discuss the result in the result section. Discussion should be some other in the discussion. Then you must refer the in the text to each figure and table in your paper. Means whatever the figure, whatever the table is used in the paper, that should be mentioned, that should be cited. Tables generally should report summary level data such as means plus or minus standard deviation. Means tables generally do give these things, and and we can use the figures when it is good visual representation. Next is discussion. Now here in this section you are free to explain what the result means whatever you have got the result, why you got that result, so you can discuss in this section why they differ from what other workers have found. Means whatever you have found, if it is differ, if it is different from other, then you should mention that, you should discuss that. Then you should interpret your results in the light of other published results, right? For example, in the same area, in the same city, uh, in the same country, and the same field, if somebody has done some work, then you should discuss your result in the light of that published work. Similarly, relate your discussion back to the objectives and questions. Means that should be related with your objective. What was your objective? Next is conclusions should be limited and suggest the future direction for the research. Means in future what can be done for your work. Then this is also the important, that is acknowledgement. Means if somebody has helped in your work, then you should mention their names and you should say thanks to them. Then it is we should show some courtesy. Then references, whenever you draw upon previously published work, you must acknowledge the sources. Like if somebody has done the work on the same topic, you should mention their names, right? Any information not from your experiment and not common knowledge, you should be recognized by a citation. Now, avoid the references which are very difficult. Then how references are presented varies considerably. Means some, there are some formats which are different, right? We will see in the next slide. Avoid listing related references that are not important to the study, right? Which is not important with your study, you should not mention that. Now, here is the some styles are given. Harvard reference style. Here it is. You can see first the Adam name is there, then year is there, then article title will be there, then subtitle, then journal title, and then this the volume number, then page number, like that. Similarly, Vancure reference style. This is the numbering reference style. Here is it is a little bit different, right? So there are some different styles. Which style we have to give the reference, that will be mentioned by some publishers. So here are the some summaries like given this International Committee of Medical. So this is one of the journal, and here the website is given. Then these are actually just info for your information. So I think I hope it will be understand to you what is article, why it is done, why we should write article, and what are the different contents. Then in each